Hey everyone, it's Heather here from Apyrodesign, back with another day of Pick the Pink. Today we're talking about Filaments.ca, and they were kind enough to send me a couple spools of their PLA pink, and I had a great time printing with it. Let's talk a little bit about Filaments.ca. So you can purchase their filaments from their website, Filaments.ca. For a 1 kilogram spool of filament, it's roughly $31 US. Now they're a Canadian based company, so definitely if you're in Canada, this is an awesome option for filament purchases locally. Currently they offer 1.75 and 2.85 millimeter filaments, and again they come on a 1 kilogram spool. So that was great. They sent me 2 rolls. That was super awesome. So the first thing I printed, of course, was my maker coin, and I printed this on our FlashForge Creator Pro at about 195 degrees, and it turned out great. This is a very subtle pink, just sort of like a typical, what I would say, like a baby pink color, or a not quite like a fuchsia pink color, but it turned out really nice. So as some of you may have seen through social media and various 3D printing boards and forums and things like that, there was an awesome model going around of a pangolin. So the pangolin is an endangered species, and this was a model that was designed to bring awareness to the pangolin. What's super cool about this model is that it's a print-in-place model. Now the feet actually don't print with it. It prints by those print separately, but the model itself, or the pangolin itself, prints flat like this, and then when you remove it from the printer, you simply snap it around a little bit and it bends. This filament was great. I did print it initially a little bit too hot. And so, because I printed this on our Zix, which normally we do run a little bit hotter, but I actually wasn't able to snap this last portion by the head over, and that was just from running the filament a little bit too hot. I think if I ran it a little bit cooler, I'd be able to snap it through. Other than that, though, it turned out pretty good. I did have a little mishap where his other foot broke, and I have yet to print that back out, so I need to do that. But it comes with the little stand to print out as well, and this filament did really great. Now, as some of you may know, well, probably everyone knows, February is for Valentine's Day. And what do you do on Valentine's Day? You buy flowers. Well, I always tell Travis, don't buy me flowers, because they're too expensive and they're just gonna die. So instead this year, I decided to print my own flowers. So I printed a dozen pink roses out of the Filaments.ca pink filament, and they turned out beautifully. So they print actually separate, just the head of the flower, and then I printed the stems also out of the Filaments.ca pink. Now you print those separate, and then you just glue them on the bottom, and I sprayed them green so that they would be more leaf-like. But I printed a dozen of these, and they turned out really, really cute. This is a really easy print-in-place flower, and they look really nice. Now, it would be nicer if the model had a little bit longer stem, but obviously not a huge deal. And the filament looked great. It's really shiny, which is really pretty. A lot of times on filaments, I would do a clear coat over it, but on this one, it's definitely not necessary, other than if you'd painted something on it and you wanted to seal that in. It has such a beautiful shine to it that there's really no need to do anything like that. So now the last thing that I printed was a model that you may have seen recently, and that's Chip from Beauty and the Beast. This was modeled by Garrett over at Chaos Core Tech, and he and his wife Chelsea have an amazing version of this on their page that Chelsea painted after Garrett modeled and printed it, and it is just a fun little model. I thought it was great. Now it did turn out a little bit rough. My biggest thing on this filament with such high detail was that it definitely needs to be printed slower than what I normally do. I usually run at about 50 to 55 millimeters a second, and this definitely could have standed to have been printed slower. Garrett recommended printing it at a 0.1 millimeter layer height, and I printed it at 0.2, so it did turn out definitely a lot rougher than what his did. The model was originally designed to be printed at a higher resolution, so I could see definitely needing to reprint it, but I may just sand it and paint it just for the fun of it. And now I have my own chip cup, although I wouldn't use it. That's probably not a good idea. So I had a great time printing with the Filaments.ca pink filament. It, printed beautifully on the pangolin, the roses, and Chip turned out pretty good too. I would definitely say check out this filament, especially if you live locally in Canada, since they are a Canadian company. You can definitely keep the shipping costs down. That's it for this episode of Pick the Pink. Tune in tomorrow to see what pink I pick next. There's only a couple left. What are we going to do after all the pink is gone? I'll find more. I promise. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.